Hello my dear friends, welcome to my channel or welcome back. I have a short review for you today from the company Homeworx. I had a haul from Homeworx, I want to say maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I ordered from the shop website. It was a really good sale. And one of the fall candles I picked up was this one, which is Lakeside Foliage. And as we've talked about before, look at those little birdies. As we've talked about, this label is absolutely stunning with that bridge motif all the way around. It's just gorgeous. The colors are gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous about this label. This is a polarizing candle, and it has been dubbed the dill pickle candle because there is something evocative perhaps of dill pickles. And while I resent that association, and I don't know if I would have made it by myself, now that it has been said, it's really hard for me to like not smell that. So we're gonna talk about what might be giving it that particular fragrance note. I burned this baby all the way down to the wick clips. So they extinguished by themselves. Look at that burn. No sooting. Gorgeous. I couldn't ask for more in terms of burn performance. It was fantastic. Yes, the wicks were a little bit on the flimsy side, but I didn't have them fall down. They didn't go puny. Every time I lit it, it pulled correctly. And I mean, that's the way you want a candle to burn. It was that, I can't even, frankly, I have just no complaints at all. All right, so the notes listed on the back are Lakeside Air, which is not particularly helpful, golden birch, red oak leaf, also perhaps not helpful, and mahogany. So you've got some wood in there with the birch and the mahogany. Then you've got this question mark Lakeside Air thing, and also red oak leaf. And if it leans more, if that's just a way of saying that it's basically a red oak smell, then it's just woody. I'm not really sure if the leaves are adding anything except kind of like a conceptual flair, since the name of it is Lakeside Foliage. So upon smelling it, and I'm going to reiterate what I said before, there is an herbal component here, and I think it's lavender. I just think it's lavender. It's kind of hard for me to tell because there's actually very little wax here. I can smell it on here. I think it's lavender. There is a great deal of wood underneath it. And I believe what may be causing the dill pickle reference is a couple things, but I'm wondering if one of them is actually that there is a cucumber note. So there is something vaguely aquatic and ozone-y about this candle when you try to separate out the herbal and the wood and then just try to like really focus on what else is in this candle. It's a very fresh green aquatic note, and I think it might be cucumber, to be honest, which is actually smart if it is a cucumber note. And they just didn't want to call it out because it may not be evocative for some people of fall or autumn. But what would be nice, and I said this at the beginning, when you see a candle called Lakeside Foliage and then there's a Lakeside Air note, you really do kind of want something vaguely aquatic, you know? At the very least ozone-y. But I would say something a little bit aquatic is nice. Not so much that you can always smell a water body, but since the conceptual here, or the concept is an autumn outdoor woodsy kind of feel, but by a body of water, it is sometimes nice to distinguish that from just the regular outdoorsy forest leaf peeper kind of vibe with something that is recognizably aquatic. And I think they may have gone with a little bit of a cucumber nuance here because there's something about cucumber that is light and green and watery, and I think it may I'm sure they tested out various different notes and thought that this went really well with the lavender and the wood. The thing is, with the lavender, which leans like herbal and cool, and then you have the wood, which this wood, and it looks like it's several woods, mahogany, birch, and oak. The complex of them comes off a tiny bit sour. So it's like a little bit of a warm wood that's going a little bit sour, and I think the sourness up against the herbal, up against the cucumber, is what is coming across as a dill pickle. I could be wrong about this, and I have obviously burned it for a very long time, smelled it for a very long time, and tried to figure out exactly what it is that I'm smelling. This is a complex candle, which I really appreciate, and they haven't given us particularly helpful scent notes in terms of us being able to kind of analyze what it is that we're smelling. So you really have to kind of close your eyes and try to figure out what it is that you're smelling. And very few people have reviewed this candle, and if so, they've kind of panned it without trying, I think, to figure out what exactly is creating this scent path or journey here with this fragrance. I have to say, I mean, for the first half of the candle at least, I burned it, and by the way, strength and throw, this is, I would say, a 7. Which is not bad, especially given the way that Homeworx candles have been going of late. 7 is decent. So I think it's a 7. I kept it in my Hurricane for most of its time here. So I was getting a good 7.5 because my Hurricane tends to add about like a half a point in terms of strength and throw. So I would say without the Hurricane, you're probably going to be in the 7 range. Because of the lavender herbal note, it will project though. You will smell that lavender note for sure up against the wood. Yeah, I mean, I think it projected. I think it was fine. For half of the candle, I was just kind of like, so Kent from Candle Channel, whenever he like comes across a candle that's like blah, you know, he'll say something like, this exists. This candle exists. Next. I don't know what else to say about it. For like half of the candle, that's how I felt about it. I'm just like, it exists. This candle exists. I don't even know, do I like it? Do I not like it? It is a point of view and it's here, and I don't know how I feel about it. I can't even feel indifferent because it's really a thing. It's like lavender and cucumbers and sour wood, and like it's actually quite creative and unique in its own thing. But at the same time, I just don't know if it's pleasant. I don't know if it's something I really want to smell. That said, and maybe it's like a version of Stockholm Syndrome for candles, but like the last half of it, I was really looking forward to burning it. And every time I burned it, I was like, hello, old friend. There was just something really like soothing about this combination. And if it is in fact lavender and cucumber, it's not a coincidence that it would also be kind of soothing in a spa-like way. Yeah, because those two are usually associated with like, you know, aromatherapy or something spa-like. And then you've got the wood, and the wood is kind of like, I don't know, it's a nice wood, but it's almost kind of like dry sauna-like. So there was something really soothing about it, and it may actually be about the specific fragrance notes that are in this candle that made me kind of like it. I can't say that it blows my mind, and I can't say that I'm like craving it. And I have had it burned for a bit, so it's just been sitting here to review. And I can't say that over the last couple days I have been missing it or really wanting to burn it again. So I don't know that it's going to be crave-worthy, even for people that can get around it and kind of appreciate and like it. I have to give a thumbs up though to Homeworx, because number 1, amazing performance. Number 2, decent strength and throw. Number 3, a beautiful fall conceptual candle in the sense that it is really giving us some autumn outdoor feel without it necessarily being another rendition of like cinnamon bun or something else that would just kind of be like a phoned in gourmand. I mean, it's a conceptual fall outdoor candle, and I trust that it's probably one that you have never smelled before. It's complicated and it's a thing. And while it may not be everyone's cup of tea, and it may not be one that we all clamor for every year, bring it back, I love to see these kinds of inclusions in a new fall set. Not all of them will be like 100% winners, but what you want to see is some thought, some uniqueness, decent performance, and a range of things. Harry Slacken does amazing stuff with gourmands, but it's really good to see him range and be able to offer some like conceptual outdoorsy stuff, which is what we all want in the fall season. It's a decent candle, it's a unique candle, and there are things to like about it. I'm just not sure that anybody is going to obsess over it. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are frankly a little weirded out by what they experience as a pickle-like fragrance, which I believe is lavender up against cucumber, up against some like deep wood that's going a little bit sour. I think that's what is creating that particular vibe. So probably undermined a little bit by the association of those things going together. Probably should have gone back to the drawing board if somebody there was like, this kind of smells like pickles, like, you know, maybe all things being equal, these fragrance notes do kind of go together in a unique way, but if the association is negative or weird, like that can really like sink a candle. So I don't know if we'll see this again, but it's a thing, it exists. And I found myself kind of really appreciating the austerity of the lavender, the soothingness of the cucumber, and I always appreciate wood, even if they don't like go together in the most pleasant way. So there you have it, my friend, Lakeside Foliage. I recommend, and given the way that Homeworx candles are going right now, I would say this is probably one of the more successful ones that we've seen in a bit. So I am moderately cheered by this particular performance. Stay tuned. I have also been burning patchouli teakwood, which I adore. But it's also a very unique one and a little bit niche. So stay tuned for that. I'll catch you in the next one.